Hey guys, I hope you had a great Christmas. I hope you're looking forward to an awesome new year like I am. But before we go slamming into 2019, why don't we sit down in the hayloft for a second and look back on 2018. The good, the bad, and the ugly. I have always loved getting people out on a gravel road and letting them see the farm life firsthand, whether it's in the field at our full-time farming jobs or here at home on our own little cattle ranch. So now I'll bring the camera along and you sit back and ask the questions. Let's explore this Midwestern farming and ranching lifestyle together. This is your channel. This is Dodge Brothers Farm and Ranch. I don't know about you, but if there's a better place to sit down and think about things than a hayloft full of good-smelling hay, I haven't found it yet. Now, I got out a notebook and I wrote down a list of the good, the bad, and the ugly from 2018. So let's start with the bad and the ugly. 2018 started out with an endless winter. I felt like we were stuck in the movie Frozen. It was snowing all the way up until the 19th of April. In fact, there was snow on the ground 4 days before we started planting corn. It was just a lingering winter. We couldn't get rid of it. We were pushing snow with the skid loader in the middle of April while we were working on the corn planter in front of the shop. It was a crazy start to 2018. Then, after we got the crop planted, we started to have rain and rain and rain, and we had floods like you wouldn't believe. We had the edge of the road was washed away. We had water running down underneath our scale across the lawn, 1.5 foot deep drifts of dirt in the lawn. It was a bad summer for flooding, and that flooding persisted on throughout the summer and into the fall. There were ears of corn that were ready to be harvested that were underwater in one of the fields. It was just a really, really wet year. It made it almost impossible to make hay. It rained every 3 or 4 days, and almost every time it rained, it was over an inch. We didn't ever have any gentle rains. It was big, torrential rainfall every time. We got stuck with the combine 3 times this fall. It was a tough harvest. It stayed wet through harvest. It was muddy all the time that we were combining. Almost right up until it froze up, it stayed muddy. We had to back into fields off of the road with the semi and do all sorts of weird things to try to keep from getting stuck. It was a weird and a long harvest. It went right on into when the ground froze. We finally were able to finish the corn after the ground froze because it was too wet to get into the field until we had that frost. We had a really expensive hydraulic repair on the combine this fall. That was quite an ordeal. There's an entire video about that if you want to go back and watch that. The commodity markets have not been good in 2018 either, whether it's cattle or hogs, soybeans and corn. The margins just aren't there. There's either no money to be made or very little. The only thing that really is worth a lot right now is hay, and that's not necessarily a good thing. It is if you have a lot of hay to sell, I guess, but the problem that's happening right now is there was a big drought in Missouri this summer, and a lot of hay did not get made down there. Guys are sending cattle north from Missouri to sell because they don't have enough hay to feed them, and hay's too expensive. They can't afford to feed the cattle through the winter. We went to an auction for bred cows a couple weeks ago. My brother and I went to watch, and there were bred cows that are going to have a calf this spring that are selling from $500 to $700. Good-looking cows. It's not a good thing. I got to believe it's going to self-correct in the spring when the pastures start to green up. I think there's probably money to be made if you had room and hay to feed these cows over the winter right now, but it's a tough situation for a lot of guys. And the last thing on my bad and ugly list is Christmas morning I found a dead calf in our cow lot. This calf wasn't due to be born until February 22nd. I found it Christmas morning, and the mother was one of our favorite replacement heifers. So this was her first chance at having a calf, and it ended in a 2-month premature delivery of a dead calf. There's not a lot of answers right now as to what happened. We're not going to get any answers because the lab fees associated with sending in samples of calf tissue and placenta tissue are astronomically high, and the chances of finding out anything are pretty low. So there's not a lot of answers. Like I say, it's just a real bummer of a deal. We have a lot of money invested in this heifer at this point, and we're not going to get any return on her this year. But that was kind of a bummer of a way to start Christmas Day, definitely. Now, on to the good. We started off 2018 with a great calving season. We had all of our calves born in a 9-day window, and they were all super healthy and took off great. It was a great year with calves. We had a lot of maple syrup this year. It was unbelievable how much sap came out of these trees. In fact, for the first time in history, I quit making maple syrup just because I was overwhelmed and tired of it, not because I ran out of sap, which is how we normally end the season. We had a great planting season. Once the snow melted away, like I joked about, we had snow on the ground on Thursday and we were planting the following Tuesday. Once we finally got in the fields, planting was flawless. The ground was in great condition and everything went really well with planting. Breeding season with the cattle herd went great. All 3 of our replacement heifers took the AI, and the cow herd was all bred on their first heat cycle, which is really great reproductive efficiency. We had the best sweet corn we'd ever had this summer. It was a great year of sweet corn, really high quality, and we ended up freezing a lot of it. I think we froze like 135 quarts or some insane number like that. It was a great summer of sweet corn. Surprisingly enough, we ended up making really great quality hay this summer. We ended up accidentally picking the right day to mow hay every time, even though it was raining often all summer long and flooding all summer long. We managed to hit just the right windows and got all of our hay made in good condition. My brother and I started a business this year selling hay feeders and feed bunks and livestock equipment to cattle ranchers in the area. It's been going really well so far. We didn't even intend to start a business, but we liked this hay feeder so much that we bought, and there's not a dealer in the area, so the opportunity was there for us to start our own equipment dealership, and it's been really good so far. We had a really safe harvest. Harvest did drag on. We got stuck. There was mud. There was all sorts of things to contend with, but nobody got hurt. None of the equipment got damaged. We had a nice, safe harvest, and that's what everybody hopes for every year. That's a huge blessing. And lastly, we started a YouTube channel, and you guys have responded. I checked this morning, we're over 1,825 subscribers already. I can't even believe the response to this channel. It all started with just a couple videos that I made for my cousin, and you guys responded so much that we just kept going. Through the rest of the winter, we'll continue putting out one video every Saturday, answering viewer questions and doing various things. And then when the activity starts to pick up in the spring with maple syrup making, calving season, and planting season starting up, that's when the frequency of the videos will start to increase a little bit. You'll have multiple videos every week. So that's a wrap for 2018. I'm super excited for 2019. I've got big plans. I think you're going to enjoy some of the things we're going to do. I think you're going to be surprised as well. I seriously want to thank you guys for subscribing, for watching all these videos, for sending in your comments and questions. It's just been overwhelming, the response from these farming videos. You guys have really, really, really surprised me. Thanks again. Keep counting your blessings, folks. 2018 wasn't as bad as it seemed. I'll see you next year.